morning. Happy Monday to you. Today is Monday, June 21st, and we're back at it again with another golden nugget for you. And as you might remember, we've been going through Proverbs this past few days or weeks, I'd rather. And I just love the book of Proverbs. There's a lot of good wisdom, good advice for our lives today. And there's just so much information here. And I'm being selecting several verses and just, talking about them and applying them mostly to our life today. So if you have missed some of those, I encourage you to go to YouTube. The YouTube channel is Simply Refreshing Life. The link is in the description of this video if you're watching on Facebook. And you can find those golden nuggets. I have them both in English and Spanish. So as you might remember, or if this is the first time you see one of my shows, I come every weekday at 10 a.m. And I do it on Mondays and Wednesdays. I do it in English, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do it in Spanish. And it's just, easier for me instead of being, translating myself at the same time. It's very complicated. So I'd rather do, English and Spanish like that. But today we're going to talk about another portion of Proverbs because, as I said, it's full of wisdom. It's full of good advice for us. And in the past video, I told you that even though a lot of people think that the Bible is an old book that does not apply to our life today, that cannot be further from the truth. And this, especially Proverbs, is very helpful for us today. Before we go on, I would like to welcome you to my channel. If this is the first time you watch, if you're on Facebook, I recommend that you go on YouTube to watch what I have been doing. This is episode 51. I did start in English first, so the English Golden Nuggets videos are longer or are more of them than the Spanish ones. But, you can go and look. There was one time that I spoke about the fruit of the Spirit and what that meant, and there's a lot of information there. So I welcome you to check it out, and if you like what you hear, subscribe to my channel as well, and then share it with your friends on social media. That helps me a lot. As you might remember, I have a group on Facebook. The group is called Loving Your Imperfect Self. Every week we talk about a different theme, everything involving about self-care, which is very, very important to me. And I speak a lot of self-care lately. And so this week, I thought it will be something fun because we're in the middle of summer. Actually, summer started yesterday. And I thought we could do some virtual traveling and just share about, the places that you've been, the place where you live. I would love to hear in the group if you, what is the good place to visit if I were to go to the town where you live. And so I'm sure you have those favorite places that it might not be like the big touristic places like Disneyland or, Universal Studios or whatever if you're in California, but it might be that place that you love to be at, or that museum that you love to visit, or, that restaurant that you love to go eat. Things like that I would love to hear. So join us in the group this week. I will be talking about the towns that I have visited, including my hometown where I was born in Mexico, and then, the places that I have lived in, and then the places that I have visited. So I'll be sharing with that. And I just thought it would be fun, to take a vacation. Even if you cannot travel for whatever reason, like with us, we were planning to travel next month, but we had to cancel and postpone those travel plans because we're buying a house. And, it's a big deal. As a matter of fact, I start packing today. But we had to make a decision of, we're going to be moving, and, we'd rather spend the money in our new home than, a trip that we can postpone and just do later. I have this in my hand. I want to talk to you about this real quick. This is Joy. This is what I'm diffusing. You see my diffuser over here? I love this oil, especially on Monday mornings when you feel like, oh my God, I don't want to do things. I don't want to go to work. This is a great oil to have. It smells So good. It has bergamot, ylang ylang. It has geranium, lemon, tangerine, jasmine, all these happy and sweet smelling oils. I actually use it as a perfume. And here's the secret: put it on your hair. So put a little bit of oil and just spray it on your hair, and it lasts longer. The scents last longer. And I really, really love Joy. I actually diffuse it as well. And it's a uplifting aroma. So today I want to talk to you about Proverbs 10:2, and uh, it says, ill-gotten treasures are of no value, but righteousness delivers from death. And I thought a lot about this, and I thought, what that means. And we tend to put or accumulate treasures here on earth, and just we sometimes get really greedy, and we are never satisfied. We want the big and the better and the greater thing above. And we have something, but we're looking at what everybody else has. Thing that somebody else, that car, that house, and that, this life that somebody else has. And we, comparing ourselves and trying to be better and trying to accumulate more. But the Bible says that righteousness delivers death. And I wanted to share a story I read. So I have this book. The link for this book is on Amazon. It's on sale right now. It's $10. It's When Faith is Forbidden. I really love this story. This is a guy that went about, in 40 days, he went to places where there's a lot of persecutions for Christians. And there's a story here that is titled, We Have Everything We Need. And it really touched my heart. And I actually felt convicted because this family is in a place. This is a story from 2016, and it says that they were in a tent, living in a tent of displaced persons in camp in northern Iraq. So displaced, I just learned this too. Displaced persons are the people that had to flee their homes, but have not crossed the national border. Refugees are the people who fled their homes, but are not outside their home country yet. So I didn't know that. I don't know if you knew that, but so these people, this family, the dad and I think there's like 5 children, live in a tent in a displaced area. They're displaced persons, and they live in a tent. Now this, when the writer of this book, when he visited, it was in January and it was really cold outside. He says that there was a little stove inside the tent that kept kind of like help with the cold, but he said, I never took my jacket off. It was very, very cold. And the whole family is living there, and they're living in this camp. And he's feeling like really bad because he has a home and everything, and these people are living in tents. And so he's talking about how he's sharing Jesus with his neighbors and the people that are there in the same camp. And he is in the middle of a camp where there's Sunnis, and this is a devout or that they follow ISIS and all that. And so it's saying here that he's hearing his testimony. He's saying that this guy, his name is Mohammed, he had a dream where Jesus is telling him to follow him. So at that moment in time, he decided to follow Christ when he woke up. And his wife was not happy because he was a Sunni husband, and he was, he became an infidel basically. And so she's trying to, he's not happy. She's not happy with this. But eventually, seeing his faith, and she also decides to follow Jesus. And so they are displaced now. And so they are living in this tent. And so here in this testimony, he's asking, I asked his wife, if he saw the changes that he saw in the husband. And he says, well, she says, he stopped beating me. That was the one big change. And, I thought it was a first good step, to follow his new faith. So here they are, and they don't have much. And, the missionary is asking him, what else can we do for you? What else do you need? And he says, I have everything I need. I have food. I have, this tent that keeps us warm. Now, mind you, it's not like a super nice tent. It's just a regular tent, and they have a little stove in the middle that keeps them warm. And they were satisfied. They were truly satisfied, because for him, the biggest reward was to share Jesus with the people that was there. And a lot of them did come to follow Jesus because of his testimony, because of what he was offering. And he's saying, come on, Mohammed, he says, you live here with 5 kids in one tent. Some of your neighbors will like to kill you. And how can you possibly say or think that you have everything you need? And in that moment, I think the Holy Spirit, reminded him that it's what God has provided for him. And, there's a great truth of what he's saying here. We have everything we need. We need to learn how to be satisfied with our lives, with what God has provided for us. And I know it's easier said than done, because we tend to look at the neighbor and see what they have, and we're like, oh, how come I don't have that? How come I can achieve this and that? And we're always, trying to compare and trying to achieve for more and have more and more and more. But we have to ask God to help us to be satisfied with what we have. And the house that you have, the car that you have, and the food you get to eat, it's a blessing from God, and we have to be thankful. We need just to stop for a minute and just be grateful for what we have, because not everybody has what you have. And who knows, people will be looking at you saying, why can I have what she has? So we need to stop comparing ourselves, and we need to really be grateful. And I invite you that today, in a moment of your day, just stop and give thanks to God for what you have. Give thanks to God for your children, for your husband, for your home, even if you're in a rental, even if it's really small, even if you have to share rooms with your sister or your brother, even if you have to, get really creative with meals or things like that. You have what you have because of God has provided for you. And if you're in a situation where perhaps you're looking for a job, or in a situation where it's not ideal, just keep trusting God, because I know that He is going to provide for us. He provided for us. We were in a situation that it was not ideal. My husband lost his job. It was years of him searching for jobs, and it was really, really tough. There was really tough situations there where we didn't know where our next meal is going to come from, and we had to ask for assistance and things like that. And God always provided for us. We never stopped eating. We never stopped missing the payment for our home. Our kids were dressed. They had clothes. They had shoes to wear, and we were grateful. And I remember once I was thinking, how I was going to afford food, and it was on a Sunday, and I've told this story before. I was talking to somebody, and that person said, "Well, I need you to come with me and just follow me in your car." And so I did, and she took me to this warehouse, and they gave me 4 boxes full of food, and I was crying and just thinking, God, you provided. This is only God providing for us. And things like that, stories like that, we saw over and over again. And during our time that we were searching for a job, and we were looking for God's provision, and God always provided. So trust in God, be satisfied with what you have. Don't desire things that might not come yet. Just be content and share Jesus with others. Let's learn from this story here that is really inspiring. They were living in a tent, and they were satisfied with what you have. Are you satisfied with your life? Are you satisfied with what you have? I hope you take a moment to thank God for what you have today. Have a great day, and we'll see you again on Wednesday. I have one more story for you, still on the road. This is the story of Jacinta Burton, and I hope you join me for that, because it was a really, really good story. I'll see you again Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Bye.